Thank you, thank you, thank you. All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it, do they? They don't get it. They just don't get it. Hello, Charleston, and I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of South Carolina with thousands of hardworking American patriots who believe in faith, family, God, and country. Thank you. It's a phenomenal crowd, only topped by the number of people outside that didn't get it. If anybody would like to give up where you're standing or your seat, please raise your hand. All right. Then let's begin, right? Thank you all very much. Oh, this is great. No, they don't get it. You know, down the road, they have a rally for one of the people that are going to be running tomorrow. They're trying to get to 100, but they're not going to make it. So I think they're going to set up a round table. You know, that's what they do. They said, so people want to go to a rally. They end up sitting at a round table talking about their definition of impeachment. Crazy. No, it's crazy. Crazy. It's a crazy deal. No, the fake news media, they've been trying to figure this out for years. They still don't get it, though. They don't get it. Look at all of those cameras. Look at all of those cameras. That's a lot of cameras. That's a lot of cameras, Lindsay and Tim. That's a lot of they heard you guys were here. They heard Tim was here and that Lindsay was here and that... And they said, we're not going to attend that rally. But you know, when we heard those two guys, plus our great congressman, they're here, great congressman. But this is an incredible time for our nation. We're thrilled to be in the midst of what we call the great American comeback, and that's what it is. Jobs are booming, incomes are soaring, factories are returning, poverty is plummeting, confidence is surging, and we have completely rebuilt the awesome power of the United States military. Our country is stronger than ever before. We are stronger, we are better. But while we're building a great future, the radical left Democrats in Washington are trying to burn it all down. They have spent the last 3 years, and I can even go further than that, 3 years since the election, but we go before the election, working to erase your ballots and overthrow our democracy. But with your help, we have exposed the far left's corruption and defeated their sinister schemes. And let's see what happens in the coming months. Let's watch. Let's just watch. Very dishonest people. Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. We did one of the great jobs. You say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. They don't have any clue. They can't even count their votes in Iowa. They can't even count. No, they can't. They can't count their votes. One of my people came up to me and said, Mr. President, they tried to beat you on Russia, Russia, Russia. That didn't work out too well. They couldn't do it. They tried the impeachment hoax. That was on a perfect conversation. They tried anything. They tried it over and over. They've been doing it since you got in. It's all turning. They lost. It's all turning. Think of it. Think of it. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We're doing great. Our country is doing so great. We are so unified. We are so unified. The Republican Party has never, ever been unified like it is now. There has never been a movement in the history of our country like we have now. Never been a movement. So a statistic that we want to talk about, go ahead, say USA, it's okay, USA. So, a number that nobody heard of, that I heard of recently, and I was shocked to hear it, 35,000 people on average die each year from the flu. Did anyone know that? 35,000. That's a lot of people. It could go to 100,000. It could be 27,000. They say usually a minimum of 27 goes up to 100,000 people a year die. And so far, we have lost nobody to coronavirus in the United States. Nobody. And it doesn't mean we won't, and we are totally prepared. It doesn't mean we won't. But think of it. You hear 35 and 40,000 people, and we've lost nobody, and you wonder, the press is in hysteria mode. CNN, fake news, and their camera just went off. The camera just went off. Turn it back on. Hey, by the way, hold it. Look at this. And honestly, all events are like this. It's about us. It's all about us. I wish they'd take the camera. Show the arena, please. Show the arena. They never do. They never do. They never do. They never show the arena. You can hear it, because when you hear it, that's not 200 people, that's not 100 people, that's thousands and thousands of people, including people outside. You can hear it. They always show my face. See that face? They show my face. I want them to show the arena, not my face, right? How many have you been to? How many rallies have you gone? Practically everyone. Can you believe it? I'm sure your husbands are thrilled, right? They're thrilled. Where are you going tonight? I'm going to another Trump rally. True. Number 114. What do your husbands say about that? This group up here, she said, we don't care. Thank you. Thank you. Democrats will only say horrible things, even though they know we're doing a great job. We're doing a great job with what we have to work with. It's incredible. The Democrats want us to fail so badly, even if their actions, and you take a look, hurt the people of this country, they'll hurt the people themselves. Their wealth, their everything. They're willing to hurt our country in order to say bad, even if they know it's not so. We made an unbelievable deal with Mexico, with Canada, with China, with South Korea, with Japan. And if you put a microphone, these people back there, like the Academy Awards used to be, not anymore. Best movie of the year. It's made in South Korea. What's that all about? Best movie. I'm waiting to see the best movie of the year. And it's made. He said it's garbage. Only in South Carolina can you say that. Only in South Carolina. You're going to get us in trouble. No, I'm just repeating what he said for the fake news. I'm just repeating. No, but seriously, you know, the Academy Awards has gone way, way down in ratings. You know why? Because they started attacking us and we don't believe in it anymore. That's why. No, but they had the best movie of the year made in South Korea. They make enough stuff for us, right? And they're good. They're our friends. Take advantage of us. That's okay. Not so much anymore. We are you take a look, magnificently organized with the best professionals in the world. We're prepared for the absolute worst. You have to be prepared for the worst. But hopefully, it will all amount to very little. That's why I tell you, when we have the flu with 35,000 people, and this one is, we have to take it very, very seriously. That's what we're doing. We are preparing for the worst. My administration has taken the most aggressive action in modern history to prevent the spread of this illness in the United States. We are ready. We are ready. Totally ready. On January 31st, I ordered the suspension of foreign nationals who have recently been in China from entering the United States. An action which the Democrats loudly criticized and protested, and now everybody's complimenting me, saying, thank you very much, you were 100% correct. Could have been a whole different story. But I say, so let's get this right. A virus starts in China, bleeds its way into various countries all around the world, doesn't spread widely at all in the United States because of the early actions that myself and my administration took against a lot of other wishes. And the Democrats' single talking point, and you see it, is that it's Donald Trump's fault, right? It's Donald Trump's fault. No, just things that happen. But you know what? This does show you, things happen. Whoever thought of this 2 weeks ago? Who would have thought this could be going on 4 weeks ago? You wouldn't. But things happen in life, and you have to be prepared, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be able to go out and get it. And my guys, we have the best professionals in the world, the best in the world, and we are so ready. At the same time that I initiated the first federally mandated quarantine in over 50 years, we had to quarantine some people. They weren't happy. They weren't happy about it. I want to tell you, there are a lot of people that are not so happy, but after 2 weeks, they got happy. You know who got happy? The people around them got happy. That's who got happy. I also created a White House virus task force. It's a big thing, a virus task force. I requested $2.5 billion to ensure we have the resources we need. The Democrats said, that's terrible. He's doing the wrong thing. He needs $8.5 billion, not $2.5. I've never had that before. I asked for $2.5. They want to give me $8.5. So I said, I'll take it. Does that make me a bit? I'll take it. I'll take it. I never had that before. I never had it. We want $2.5 million. That's plenty. We demand you take $8.5. He doesn't know what he's doing. We want $8.5. These people are crazy. We must understand that border security is also health security. And you've all seen the wall is going up like magic. It's going up like magic. You think that was an easy one? That was not an easy one. It's going up great, and it's we're up now 132 miles, and this is the exact wall that border security wanted, everything. This is everything they wanted. 132 miles already. We'll have 500 miles built by very early next year sometime. So One of the reasons the numbers are so good. We will do everything in our power to keep the infection and those carrying the infection from entering our country. We have no choice. Whether it's the virus that we're talking about or many other public health threats, the Democrat policy of open borders is a direct threat to the health and well-being of all Americans. Now, you see it with the coronavirus. You see it. You see it with the coronavirus. You know, you see that. When you have this virus or any other problem coming in, it's not the only thing that comes in through the border. And we're setting records now at the border. We're setting records. And now, just using this, so important, right? So important. I'm doing well in the polls despite the worst fake news and worst presidential harassment in the history of the United States. We've got phenomenal numbers. No, it's true. The worst presidential harassment in history. We had a great event yesterday. An event that was so beautiful. Young African-American leaders. One of the things I asked them, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, and great people, some of them are here tonight. Do you like the name African-American or black? And they said, black, all at the same time. No, true, I tell you. Because you say African-American or black. And they said almost like immediately black. But we had an incredible group of people. And what happened is NBC, it was such a love fest. It was so incredible. Went on for 45 minutes. It was a love fest. It was incredible. NBC turned down, there they are right there. They turned down. Comcast, which owns NBC, actually NBC, I think, which is, we call it MSDNC, right? MSDNC. But NBC, I think, is worse than CNN. I actually do. And Comcast, a company that spends millions and millions of dollars on their image, I'll do everything possible to destroy their image because they are terrible. They are terrible. They are terrible. They're a terrible group of people. And they paid me a fortune for years for The Apprentice. They paid me a fortune. And when I left the show, it was doing great. When I left the show, 14 seasons, think of that. They got a big movie star. I won't tell you his name. Nobody would know. Actually, nobody will know his name because he was on for such a short period of time. But the show went down the tubes very quickly after they had Trump. But the country, in 5 years from now, of course you want to upset them, 5 years or 9 years or 13 years. Or 18 years. Ten more years. No. Oh, they go crazy when you say it. When you say to them, 5 more years. So it's 5. But you then say, maybe 9, maybe 13, maybe 17, maybe 21, who knows? Maybe 20. Let's do this. Let's term limit ourselves at 25 years, no more than 25 years. No more, okay? They'll pass something in the Senate. Tim, pass it in the Senate with Lindsey. A 25-year term limit, please. No, we're looking to do a great job. We need that extra 5 to get everything solidified. You know, it's like you take a tree and you plant it. It needs some time to grab on, right? And that's what we need. We've got incredible things that we've done. We have things we still can do, but we have done actually much, much more than we even promised we'd do, if you think all of that. While the extreme left has been wasting America's time with these vile hoaxes, we've been killing terrorists, creating jobs, raising wages, enacting fair trade deals. securing our border, and lifting up citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. We added another 225,000 jobs last month alone. And that makes 7 million jobs since our election. 7 million. The unemployment rate in the great state of South Carolina. You ever hear that place? Now, Sleepy Joe would say the unemployment rate in the great state of Ohio. No, you're in South Carolina. Joe, you're in South. They come up and you ever see the guy that no, it's South Carolina, it's not Ohio. Okay. And he goes, all right, Iowa? Did you say Iowa? No. I did that like 7 times. If I did that once, it would be the end of the road, right? Be the end of the road. They'd say Trump has lost it. They like to say that anyway, I guess. Huh? These people are bad people. No, Sleepy Joe. Well, he's running tomorrow. No, but could you imagine if I said just a small fraction of the mistakes he makes, which are unbelievable, every speech? I actually said the other night, I was watching him when he said about half the population wiped out with guns. I said, that's a horrible thing. That's the end of his evening. That's the end of his political career. And then after the debate, they're reviewing him. They said, Joe Biden had a great night last night. I don't get it, Tim. The unemployment rate here in South Carolina has fallen to 2.3%, the lowest rate in your state's history. It's the lowest rate in all of America. It's the lowest rate in all of America. I said to a friend of mine, a Democrat, how's the race going tomorrow? Who's going to win? And he says, Mr. President, no, it's very interesting. You know, he said something. This guy's a real political pro, too, in all fairness, even though he's a Democrat. But I said, who's going to win? He said, honestly, sir, it doesn't matter. You are so far ahead in South Carolina that it's meaningless. Meaningless. That's what they say. And in North Carolina, too. In North Carolina. We've destroyed the ISIS territorial caliphate. We killed the founder and leader of ISIS. Al-Baghdadi is dead. He's dead. He's dead. And we recently took out the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani, ending his evil reign of terror forever. But as we keep on winning, Washington Democrats keep on losing their minds. They've gone crazy. I mean, nervous Nancy, crying Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Bunch of losers. The good citizens of South Carolina have had a front row seat to the extremism of the Democrat candidates. Whether it's his character that nobody ever heard of him. I never heard of it. I thought I knew all the wealthy people. This guy, Tom Steyer, Mr. Impeachment. How did that work out, Tom? Hey, he spent millions and millions of dollars in Iowa, right? Millions. He got less than 1%. He got like 1/3 of 1%. I wrote a little note. Did you see it? It said, Tom, it's not so easy doing what I did, is it? Not so easy. Not so easy. All you have to do is ask Mini Mike. He's in there for a fortune. He wished he never started. He wished he never, Mini Mike, he wished he never started. He said, well, Trump can do it. I'm going to do it too. Unfortunately, it's not working out too well. Was that the worst debate performance in history? I turned on, because, they had a big audience. Everybody wanted to see whether or not he was good at what we're supposed to be doing up here. He turned out to be a total catastrophe. They had 35 million people. Can you believe that's a big audience, very big. And what a killer. But this guy Steyer, he spends all this money. He's not that wealthy. He spends all of this money, and you shouldn't waste your vote on him tomorrow, I have to be honest. The people, by the way, are the Republicans allowed to vote anyway, even though? Are you ready? Okay, you ready? Let's do it together. I assume this is okay from a campaign finance standpoint, I assume. Lindsey, Tim, our great congressman, are we allowed to do this? So, am I allowed to request, first we have to figure out who would be the weakest candidate against President Trump. And then if it's legal, I always say, if it's permissible by law, because they have so many little booby traps, but they only like getting the Republicans, Democrats skirt, right? But we'll see what happens about that. The Democrats. But let me ask you this, Lindsey, Tim, your pros, these are two of the greatest guys I know. So let me ask you this. So I don't know what the record attendance is in this arena, but I was told that we broke it by a lot. And you get the people outside. Are we allowed to tell them who we would like them to vote for? Because you're allowed to skip. All right, so wait a minute. Let's do a poll. We do this for the fake news back there. Ready? Who would be the best candidate for us, not for them? We're ready? Ready? So let's go through them just quickly. We won't include Steyer because he's a loser. He's out. Okay? We won't include him. Who would be the best? Well, this is a real poll. This isn't one of those fake polls taken by, in all fairness, I love you, Fox, taken by Fox, the worst pollster. This pollster hates Trump's guts. I was losing the last election by a fortune. They said, he did great with women. What? Everything was wrong. And they never replaced this guy. But watch this, you ready? So first we'll go, let's say, Sleepy Joe, right? So, right? Then we'll go Crazy Bernie, then we'll go Mini Mike. I don't think Mini Mike, I think he's out of it. Should we include Mini Mike or not? Mini Mike is gone. Mini Mike is gone. I think he's gone. He doesn't have a chance. So let's not talk, and he's not in your election anyway, so let's forget. So Mini Mike, I hear Mini Mike, by the way, has left. He's basically given up. That's what I hear. He gave up. He gave up. Now, I hope what I just said keeps him in. You know, he's the kind of a guy, he'll stay in because I don't want to be wrong. Mike, it's time to go home. Go home, Mike, and enjoy your life. Go home and spend some money on something. So let's just go. We'll go because, okay, do you agree? We'll go for the two. Look, Pocahontas, we can forget about her, right? Pocahontas. I came out with that name far too early. Because those Bernie Ambers, they got, you know, then she got so horrible to people. And they said, you know, she's not dumb, but she's just so damn mean. We can't vote for her. She's a mean one. She is mean. So Pocahontas, should we leave her in or out? How about Klobuchar? Klobuchar. Not going to happen. So really, we're down to two candidates, right? Sleepy Joe Biden and Crazy Bernie. So this is a poll. I guarantee you this. As much as they hate me, they're going to put this all over the place. We have a poll of like 30,000 people inside and out. They're doing it outside too. We have a poll. Are you ready? Who do I, so in other words, who's the weaker of the two? I'm not interested in who does better. No, I'm not interested. Wait. So, ready? In other words, who do I want to run against? Meaning, very simple. We put it into nice, simple language. Who the hell is easier to beat? Right? So, who is easier for us, not me, for us to beat? Ready? Crazy Bernie? Or Sleepy Joe? I don't know. I think maybe Crazy Bernie has it a little bit. Now, once more, just quick. Ready? He said it doesn't matter. You'll beat them all. I hope so. I hope so. So who is easier to beat? Crazy Bernie or Sleepy Joe? They think Bernie's easier to beat. They think Bernie's easier to beat. So whether it's Bernie Sanders' plan to eliminate private health care, Elizabeth Warren's plan, I told you that I had more Indian blood in me than her, even though I have none. I have none. Zero. I have none. I have none. I said, I have more Indian blood in me than she has. And she choked. She said, I'm going to show. She hired this company, and they went out and did a blood test. 1,024th, right? So that means I probably won somewhere down the line 1,000,000 years ago. I'm telling you, that was horrible. She choked. We don't want a person to win that chokes. We don't want a choke artist, right? One thing you will say about me, I'm not a choker with all these people for years. They're after me for years. We can't have chokers. We can't have chokers as your president. So, Elizabeth Warren's plan to eliminate America's borders, so that's what you would, or Mini Mike's plan to eliminate your Second Amendment and take away your guns. How about that? Mini Mike wants to take away your guns. The insanity of the Democrat Party is why millions of registered Democrat voters are joining our movement. They are joining our great new Republican Party. This November, we are going to take back the House, we are going to hold the Senate, and we are going to keep the White House. I wonder what they say when they go down the road and they see these groups of 200 people. Seriously, I wonder what they say. They never talk about it. They'll say, Joe Biden had a fabulous crowd today. Fabulous! So fabulous that there's like 5 people. And they'll leave and they'll say, President Trump had a smattering of applause. Smattering. They use the word smattering a lot. This is not, let's let them hear it. This is not a smattering. This is not a smattering. It's not a smattering. Turn the cameras. That's not a smattering. That is not a smattering. I hate it. They say Donald Trump. You know, in India, I hate to say this to you, but so they actually have a 129,000 seat stadium. Did you see it? The place was packed. And they did better than most. They gave me credit for 100,000. That was not bad. It's 129. The stadium holds 100. They had a field that's about 3 times. It's cricket. It's the biggest stadium. And at 129, I was with the Prime Minister of India, Modi, great guy, loved by the people of India, and we had an amazing thing. And I went in, and here's the problem. This is a big crowd, and normally I like talking about my crowds because I get crowds like nobody. But I just got back from 140 or 50 or 60,000 people, and now I'm coming here. What does this place hold, 15? It's hard to be enthused, you understand that? I may never be excited again about a crowd after going to India. But they have, think of this, they have 1.5 billion people. We have 350. So we're doing pretty well, I'll tell you what, but I love this crowd. And I love that crowd too. Tell you they have a great love for, they have a great love. They have a great leader and they have a great love for the people of this country. That was really a worthwhile trip. With us tonight are both of your incredible U.S. senators, 2 incredible friends, 2 warriors, Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Tim Scott. Come up here. And by the way, Tim's incredible mother is right here in the front row. You know, as they're doing that, they got this big head. I was going to almost do a poll in the two of them, but we're not doing that. But Lindsey is a true fighter for South Carolina, loves your state. And as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, you know that, right? He's the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. So important. So important. Senator Graham has been leading the charge to help us confirm a record number of judges to uphold the Constitution as written. And Lindsey was amazing, you remember, for Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Remember how badly he was? Great job, Lindsey. Great job, man. Thank you. Senator Scott is a leading superstar. He's a superstar. But he is a leader in lowering health care costs like nobody has done it. You know, people don't know, but in the last year, prescription drug prices came down for the first time in 51 years. And that was with no Democrat help. If we had their help, we could lower it by 50%. But we'll get their help. One of these days, they're going to get smart. Senator Scott provides world-class care for our veterans. What he's done for our veterans is incredible. And bringing investment to distressed communities across our country through opportunity zones, including 135 right here in South Carolina. That's what it is. Tim Scott came to my office with an idea. He said, opportunity zone. I said, Tim, what the hell is that? What is it, right, Tim?
Yes, sir. And
he went through a whole big thing, and I said, this maybe could work. And we tried it. It is an incredible success. And what he's done for this country is incredible. It's incredible. Lindsey, we'll start with Lindsey. Say a few words, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to South Carolina, Mr. President. You know why you're going to win? You've been a damn good president. Thank you for 200 conservative judges. Thank you for Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Gorsuch. Thank you for rebuilding the military and killing the terrorists. Thank you for the strongest economy of my lifetime. And thank you more than anything else for putting up with the never-ending bullshit you have to go through.
USA! 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 If South Carolina, I said, if South Carolina is Trump country, let me hear you scream! If you have benefited from the Trump economy, let me hear you scream! Okay, one last thing. One last thing. One last thing. If you want 4 more years of President Trump. Let me hear you scream!
Well, that was quite a display, wasn't it? Now, there's a lot of love in this room. A lot of people say to me, friends of mine, they're very successful. They'll say, how do you speak in front of 25,000 people and 10,000 people and all of this? You know why? There's such love in the room, it's easy. No, it's true. There is such, I explain they don't understand it because they're not for doing that, but I say there is such unbelievable love in the room that it's easy to do. It really is. Right? It's sort of easy to do. We're also thrilled to be joined by many more great leaders from across the state. And as some of you maybe know, I like this guy for a long time, Governor Henry McMaster. Come up, Henry. Come up, Henry. Representatives Joe Wilson, Jeff Duncan, William Timmons, Ralph Norman, Tom Rice, and the chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party, Drew McKissick. Great going. Come here. Thank you for And as I introduce somebody, and I'll just say stay there because he was brave, but he got hit hard. He's a very special man, retired Marine Corps, Major General. And most of you know, he received the Congressional Medal of Honor, James E. Livingston. And James, just relax. Where's James? He got hit hard. Thank you, James. Congressional Medal of Honor winner. Thank you, James. They are great, brave people. You know, we have the Congressional Medal of Honor and we have the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And they're both the highest awards. One civilian, one is military. And I always say getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom is much less painful. Because when I read them off, I'll read like with James or with so many of the Congressional Medal of Honors. Many are not living, to be honest with you. And I'll read stories where one of them recently going up a hill, hit 19 times by gunfire, grabbing 4 people, bringing them down, getting onto a helicopter, falling out of the helicopter, hitting a tree on the way down. Hitting a tree. They went back and saved him, but he died later. I mean, those are tough deals. Those are tough deals. And we have one right here who's living. We have one right here who's living. But they are tough. So thank you very much for being here. And maybe I could ask our governor, our great governor of this incredible state, to say a few words. Please, Henry.
Thank you.
Who is the greatest president in the whole world whom we love more than anybody in the world? They love you. And what is the name of the president who loves you? And whom are we going to send back to the White House for 4 more glorious years? And what is the greatest country on the face of the earth?
Thank you very much. And where is Alan? Is your son here, your great son, Attorney General? Alan, thank you very much. Take good care of him, okay? Thank you. Thank you, Alan. And thanks to Republicans all over America, we are now working on things that nobody ever thought possible. Since my election, over 121,000 new jobs have been created right here in South Carolina. We've lifted 10 million people off welfare, including 7 million off of food stamps. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. They're working and they have great jobs and they love getting up in the morning and they're making much more money. And it costs our country nothing. We make money. They pay taxes. It's a whole different deal. Median household income has reached the highest level in the history of our country. The unemployment rate nationwide has hit the lowest rate in over 50 years. The average unemployment rate for my administration is the lowest for any U.S. president in recorded history. How about that one? That's a good one. That's a good one. The unemployment rate among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached record lows. Black youth unemployment has reached an all-time low. Black poverty levels are the lowest ever recorded in the history of our country. For decades, Democrat politicians betrayed African Americans. They forced their children into failing schools. They shipped their jobs to foreign countries. They pushed their unfair sentencing policies. You know about that. Alice, you know Alice? And they favored illegal aliens over their own constituents. You know that. That's been happening for a long time. My administration is reversing these failed policies and delivering record gains for African Americans. We are going to compete for every single vote in 2020, and we expect to win a historic share of the black vote come Election Day. We are supporting working families by fighting paid. We got something that nobody thought could happen. Paid family leave, reducing the cost of child care and giving 40 million American families an average of $2,200 more in their pocket thanks to the Republican child tax credit. Republican, not Democrat. We are reversing decades of calamitous trade policies that decimated manufacturing all across your state and all across our country. For years, politicians sold you out to global special interests, enriching other countries at your expense. That ended. That ended. But I am not the president of the globe. I don't want to be the president of the world. I am the president of the United States of America. Last month, we finally ended the NAFTA catastrophe, and I signed the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement into law. The USMCA is a tremendous, giant, beautiful victory for South Carolina farmers, ranchers, manufacturers all across the state. Nothing like it, what you had to go through with NAFTA. Everybody was leaving. It was a disgrace that it was ever signed. You know it better than anybody. You had those empty hulks all over the country, all over the state. All around the world, we are demanding trade that is fair, and my all-time favorite word, reciprocal. Reciprocal, gotta be fair. After years of building up other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. We are finally putting America first. On no issue have Washington Democrats more thoroughly sold out the American people than the issue of immigration. Every Democrat running for president supports free federal welfare for illegal aliens funded by you, the American taxpayer. They want to treat illegal aliens, people that come into our country illegally, better than they want to treat our military and our veterans. Not only does illegal immigration drain our treasury, but it threatens innocent lives. I recently invited to the White House the granddaughter of a 92-year-old woman who was raped, beaten, brutalized, and murdered by an illegal alien who had previously been set free in New York City. Here in Charleston County, an illegal alien was recently charged with sexually assaulting a young girl in the 4th grade. In Berkeley County, officers captured a previously deported MS-13 gang member who shot a man to death before dousing the body in gasoline and setting him on fire, and he should have never been in our country. He shouldn't have been allowed. It's being built. It's being built. And by the way, just in case you haven't heard, it is being built, and that you know. And, you know, they're going to go nuts. They're going to go nuts. They thought they got me. You know, they said, okay. Have you heard them recently? Okay. He's building the wall. And you think it's easy getting that kind of money to build a wall when I have a whole party and a deep state and some never-Trumpers? They're a dying breed, though. The good thing, they're on respirator. They're on respirator. They're on mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. You can do it. I'm not doing it. They're on mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, the never-Trumpers. But you think it's easy? It's not. But that's being built. But you know what they say now? Okay, he's building the wall, but Mexico's not paying for it. Yes, they are. They are. They are. They are paying for it. And some of the fake news knows that, but they refuse to report it, but that's okay. You'll see what's going on. And I want to thank Mexico because, by the way, right now they have 27,000 soldiers on our border protecting our border. We have Mexico protecting our border. And they only do that for Trump. They don't do that for Sleepy Joe. They don't do that for Crazy Bernie. And they don't do it for Mini Mike, that's for sure. They're only doing that for Trump, right? Only 27,000 soldiers protecting our border. In this region of the country alone, last year, ICE, they've been treated so badly, right? They are great, they're brave, they're tough. Any men, they're tough guys in here, but anybody want to be an ICE officer, it's tough stuff, right? They go into those nests, they call them nests, that's where these guys are together, and they knock the hell, I mean, if they have to, I have to be very careful, I don't want to get them in trouble. You know, because the press wants us to be very politically correct. So let me change it around. They go into a nest of MS-13 and they say, "Oh, hello, gentlemen, how are you?" And on occasion, they have a fight. They never lose those fights. We need people like that. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? How many people did you kill last year? How many people did you kill last year with a knife because they like knives, because it's more painful? This is the kind of people that we were letting into our country. ICE has taken them out of our country by the thousands, Last year, ICE officers arrested 12,000 criminal aliens charged or convicted of dangerous offenses, including robbery, rape, and many for a thing called murder. On Wednesday, we won the big case in federal court. Did you see that? Did you see that? We won the case. Unanimously, federal appeals court, where we don't have to give money to sanctuary cities and states if they don't work with us. Finally. 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 Why should we? Yet the Democrat candidates oppose all detention of illegal aliens. They want unfettered catch and release. We have ended that program. It was not easy. We have to go through courts. Everything is a court. Everything is a suit. We do anything. We turn to the right, they sue us. We turn to the left, they sue us. We win, but we're winning. You know that we have 218 judges now. It's like good. And let me just preface that by saying, I know they give fair opinions. It bears no relationship to who appoints them. But I never win with an Obama-appointed judge. Ever. I don't win. No, we have great judges going on to the courts, great judges. They're fair judges. They're judges that truly love our Constitution. It's great. And they're judges that if we feel it's right, they don't want to invite the world to trespass across our borders. Very simple. The Democrat field also supports deadly sanctuary cities that release violent criminal aliens. You know that. You've been reading. All you have to do is pick up a paper every day. They release these horrible criminals to terrorize our communities. We don't do that anymore. We won't let it happen. And now we don't have to give sanctuary cities and states the money that they're going to want. It's a whole game changer. And they don't even want to report it. I don't know. I didn't see much. They keep talking about the virus. Oh, the virus. Is Trump doing a good job? Oh, I don't think so. Gee, I don't think so. Chucky Schumer. No, I don't think he's doing a good job. This guy doesn't know he's alive. Oh, what bad people. Republicans believe America should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not for criminal aliens. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, we have reduced illegal border crossings by a staggering 75% since last spring, and we have ended catch and release permanently. You know what catch and release is? We catch them. We grab them. We say, could we please have your address? Address, I don't know. What the hell is an address? They don't have an address. Could we have a number? Do you have a phone? Could we call your mother or your father and say, in 4 years you have to come to court? So what they do is they catch him. They get some information that the guy has no idea where he lives, and, you know, it's one of those things in many cases. And then release. We release him into our country. We don't do that anymore. And if you knew what it took, we catch them and we take some information and we release them in, and we say, please report back in 4 years from now for your trial. And about 2% come back, and they're the ones that are the dumbest people I've ever seen. 2%. Nobody comes back. It's crazy. But we're getting it changed, and it would be so easy. They're called loopholes. Loopholes, that word alone, they're called loopholes. It would be so easy if we had some Democrat support. We don't have any Democrat support. They want open borders. They don't care about crime. Border Patrol has seized the largest amount of deadly narcotics ever in the history of our country this last year. We have deported record numbers of gang members. We are building the wall faster than ever, and we will soon be building more than 1 mile a day. Washington Democrats have never been more extreme. 132 congressional Democrats have signed up for Bernie Sanders' health care takeover. They want to take away your health care. While the Washington Democrats are trying to destroy your health care and to destroy your Social Security. That's what's going to happen. My administration is protecting your Social Security, your Medicare, and is fighting to give you great health care. And we are defending your right to keep the doctor and to keep your plan of choice. Remember when President Obama would say, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan, 28 times. He said you can keep your doctor and you can keep your plan. Well, he lied. We should impeach him. We should impeach him for that. He lied 28 times. You'll keep your doctor, keep your plan. It's wonderful, great. Went through the roof. We're doing a great job. We killed the individual mandate, which is the most unbelievable, horrible. And it's not really Obamacare anymore, but we're running the hulk of it, and we're trying to kill it entirely, and then we will put it back. You'll have great health care, and pre-existing conditions will be totally protected. Pre-existing conditions will be totally protected. We're making health care better and much cheaper. While premiums more than doubled in the 5 years before I took office, we are now offering plans already that are up to 60% less expensive than the old Obamacare. Think of that. And better, and better. We are stopping surprise medical billing, a disgrace. And I signed an executive order imposing price transparency, because when providers are required to show their prices, which they don't have to do, but now they do, those same prices fall very, very fast. We have approved a record number of affordable new generic drugs, which are just as good as the name brand drugs, but at a tiny fraction of the cost. They're just as good. I always like a name brand. I mean, there's no difference. Probably sometimes they're better. We've totally transformed veterans' health care, getting long-sought VA choice and VA accountability passed after 50 years. And hopefully nobody in this great arena needs it. But we have passed something that they said couldn't happen. The spectacular right to try. You know what that is. If you're terminally ill, you go all over the world. If you have no money, you can't. You go home and you die. You're terminally ill. They go all over the world if they have money. They go to Asia, they go to Europe, they're searching. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest labs in the world, greatest technicians in the world. And we have pipelines of drugs coming out for different problems. And now you sign a piece of paper, we're not going to hold anybody liable, you get to use that drug, and the results have been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hopefully you don't need it. But now we have right to try. They've been trying for 51 years to get that approved. 51 years. And we got it approved. I guess I'm good at getting things approved, aren't I? Those people that I brought up here were the reason, too. Every one of them. They were incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Senators, congressmen, they were the reasons. We are combating the opioid epidemic. Drug overdose deaths have declined for the first time in nearly 32 years. And we have launched new initiatives combating kidney disease, which is a big deal. You know, kidney disease is so tough that people die literally because it's so much work. They die from overwork. It's just crazy. In theory, they could keep them going for a long time, but the work and the dialysis and all of the things they have to do. And we've done things that make it so much easier, and it's just such an honor to be involved. And also Alzheimer's disease, we're really making strides. It's really a great thing. Great thing. We're pursuing new advances in neonatal research to care for America's youngest patients and breaking all records in so doing. Virtually every Democrat candidate has declared their unlimited support for extreme late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up until the very moment of birth. That is why I've asked Congress to prohibit late-term abortion of babies, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift of God. The Democrat Party is the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, blatant corruption, and the total obliteration of your Second Amendment. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, the American dream, and of course, the late, great Abraham Lincoln. Republicans are fighting for citizens from every background, every community, and every walk of life. We are the party of boundless optimism, excitement, energy, and enthusiasm. We are a big tent. We are a big party. We are the party of big ideas for the future. This is where it is. This is where it is. This is not the old Republican Party. This is a very inclusive party. This is a great party. Republicans are proudly fighting for nationwide school choice, including right here in South Carolina. We want to give school choice to every child in America who needs it, from kindergarten to 12th grade, because no parent should ever be forced to send their child to a failing government school. And I passed criminal justice reform to give former prisoners a second chance at life. That's a big deal. This could not have been done by anyone but the Republican Party. You know, they came to me, a group of people, and they wanted criminal justice reform. And I wasn't sure about the issue, but we had a lot of great Republicans very much in favor of it, including people that happened to be right here today. And they were very much. And I started studying the issue, worked hard on the issue. And criminal justice reform, you saw Alice Johnson come out of prison, 22 years. She had another 20 years left, think of it, for a phone call. For a phone call. A great woman, but we have many people coming out that shouldn't be there for anywhere near those terms. Not for those terms. But they came to see me, a group of people came. Van Jones, he came up. Oh, thank you, sir. They needed 4 senators. They needed help. I called Lindsey. I called everybody. I called Tim, who's so great on everything. I called everybody. They needed 4 senators and maybe 5, and they needed help with some of the ones that weren't moving in the right direction, and I gave it to them, and I got it, and it was not easy. And we got criminal justice reform, and then I signed it. And then this Van Jones has a program that gets no ratings absolutely at all. And they say, Van Jones wants to thank everybody for criminal justice reform. So I called our great First Lady over. I said, darling, please take a look. It's going to be so nice. Because honestly, look, they couldn't have done even close without me. I got all these people together, got them done. It was impossible. Previous presidents couldn't even think about it. They couldn't even think about doing it, and they tried, although I don't think they tried too hard, but they could have never done it. So he gets up, and he starts by saying, I want to thank the Reverend Al Sharpton. I knew Al when he was very heavy. He looked better when he was heavy, it's true. He's one of the few people, he really looked better when he was heavy. He looked much better when he was heavy. I got to tell him, I have to explain, because I know him very well. He would admit that he has a lot of respect for your president, but he can't admit it on television. But he called and he said, I want to thank the Reverend Al Sharpton. And then name after name after name of people that I never heard of. My wife said, are they going to think about you? Right? Are they going to think about you? I said, darling, of course. I said, he's saving me till the end, because I was by far. It's true. This is true, Tim. Lindsey, this is true. I said, he's saving me till the end. It's going to be such an honor to be recognized. Because I don't get enough publicity. I need a little bit more. He got to the end and he didn't say it. And she looked at me. She sort of smiled. I think she loved it in a certain way, you know. But she sort of smiled. She said, it's too bad. I said, yeah, it is. Then he said, I have one more thing to say. We must get out this year and fight and vote against this president of the United States. Can you believe that? That's true. It's a true story. Van Jones, I mean, they're just terrible that they could. So I was a little embarrassed in front of our great First Lady, but I'll live through it somehow. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. We recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. 52 years. 52 years, the Golan Heights have been fighting and fighting for it. I did it, and I did the true capital, Jerusalem, right? How many presidents promised that? Every president for many, many decades promised, we're going to do that. They never did it. I did it. We did a lot. We've invested more than $2 trillion in the United States military, including more than $150 million this year in Joint Base Charleston, Fort Jackson, and Paris Island. And we created the sixth branch of the American Armed Forces, the Space Force. We have another branch, 72 years. Not for 72 years, the Air Force. Have they done a new branch? We did the Space Force. You know, when I first said it, everybody thought I was joking. I said, I'm not joking. They thought it was like from the comic strips or the future movies. I said, no, it's all about space. In a number of years, people are going to say, I can't believe we didn't do this sooner. You know, we need a little vision. We need a little foresight. And you know, when I mentioned Space Force, at arenas like this, it gets one of the biggest hands because that's where it's at. That's where it's going, unfortunately or fortunately. We need it for defense. We need it for offense. Sixth branch, 72 years. For years we watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the people of South Carolina. At stake in our present battle is the actual survival of our nation. I really believe that. It's the survival. You see these maniacs that we're dealing with. They want to give away everything. We will end up being Venezuela, large-scale version. If you want your children to inherit the blessings that generations of Americans have fought and died for to secure, then we must devote everything we have towards victory in November of 2020, November 3rd to be exact. Only this way can we save the America we love and drain the swamp. I never thought it was this deep. Man, I talked about a swamp. You never told me it was this bad, fellas. That swamp is bad. You got dirty cops at the top of the FBI. You got a lot of dirty people. But you also have phenomenal people in the FBI and other places. But we're draining that swamp. I never knew it was going to be this dirty, and we're getting a lot of help from a lot of great people. And with your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and from poverty to prosperity. That's what's happening. Think of it. From poverty to prosperity. Look at some of the stories that you have over there. Look at some of the incredible stories. Look at Tim Scott. Look at that incredible story. No, really, it's an incredible story. Yeah. Lindsay will say it. And I give about 99% of the credit to Tim Scott's mother. I do. I guarantee you, Tim, there was no games, right? There was no games in your household. It was, let's go to work, right? Great mother. Thank you very much. Thank you. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system, finally, of immigration. We will continue to enact new trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, infectious diseases like we're working on right now, and ending the AIDS epidemic. Nobody thought this was possible in less now than 9 years, and it should have been started before. We will end the AIDS epidemic. Who would have thought we could have done that? We will land the first woman on the moon and become the first nation in the world to plant our flag on Mars. You have to land on moon, and then you go to Mars. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." From Greenville to Columbia, and from Myrtle Beach to Hilton Head, to right here in Charleston, this state is home to some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk on the face of the earth. It's true. It's true. True. We stand on the shoulders of American patriots who have crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, dug out the Panama Canal, laid down the railroads, revolutionized industry, liberated millions from poverty, hunger, and disease, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and we are making it greater every single day. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people, with your help, your devotion, and your drive. We are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. So you have the best year ever on record, right, South? It's the best year you've ever had, right? You have a great governor, you have 2 great senators, great congressmen. The greatest year you've ever had. But some people in South Carolina are getting a little tired, I'm surprised to hear this, of winning. I'm very surprised. And some actually called their 2 great senators into a big meeting, a town hall. And they said, Senator Scott, Senator Lindsey Graham, we're tired of winning in South Carolina. Can't do it anymore. It's too much. It's too much. We've had years where we weren't winning and it was okay. We couldn't get jobs. We took it easy. But we just want you to go and see your friend, the president. And we want you to represent us, and we want you to say, Mr. President, South Carolina is tired of winning. We don't want to win anymore. We are tired, sick, tired of winning. And they're going to come in and say, sir, I hate to tell you, but the people of South Carolina don't want to win anymore. And I'll say, Mr. Senators, let me tell you something. South Carolina does want to win. They want to win more than anybody. And we're not going to change a thing because we're winning like never before. And you know what? We're going to keep it that way. Sorry, Senators. Go back to South Carolina, Senators. Go back to South Carolina.